Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to Prime Time News on TV1. We've got the latest of news lined up for you from here at home and across the globe. But before we take a look at your stories in detail, let's start off with a look at your top stories for tonight.
Wild elephant attack in Ududiyaluma claims the life of one woman. Girl from Gampala missing for 5 days, suspected to have been murdered. Program to provide 15,000 rupees to 400,000 families presented in Parliament. Will the Prime Minister be changed? Will the governors accept the President's request and resign? Dayasiri and Duminder clash out in the open. Treasurer of the Parliamentary Committee on Finance increased Treasury bill issuance by 1 trillion in the absence of a chairman of the committee. The new Central Bank Act was postponed because it would have prevented the government from printing money. Party accusers in Parliament.
මේ මහ බැංකු පනත ඊයේ විවාදයට නොගත්තේ එක්ස්ප්‍රස් පර්ල් නැව හින්දා නෙවෙයි. එහෙම නැත්නම් විපක්ෂයේ ඉල්ලීමක් හින්දා නෙවෙයි. ගත්තෙම මෙන්න මේ පනත අනුමත කළා නම් මේක ගෙනල්ලා මේ බිලියන 1000කින් අපේ ණය සීමාව වැඩි කරන්න නොහැකි නිසා.
Gedaravava village in Navagattegama to receive clean drinking water under the Gum at the initiative.
Starting off tonight's news with some very tragic news. Sri Lanka's famous herd of mountain elephants in Koslanda claimed yet another life when one woman was killed while camping above the Dialuma Falls.
Danushka and Eugene were popular vloggers going under the name Danua with Eugene. The couple captured some of the most scenic locations in the country and shared them with their followers on social media. The couple had visited Ududiyaluma in Koslanda to gather content for yet another one of their videos at about 6:30 last evening. However, had they known the fate that awaited them, they would have chosen a different location to film. The couple had been attacked by a wild elephant while they were camping in Ududiyaluma. Eugene lost her life. Danushka never left her side even after the attack and was found by area residents when they came to the camping site.
උදේ පාන්දර තමයි මං ආවේ. එනකොට කොල්ලයි මෙතන හිටියා. කොල්ලගෙත් මේ හක්ක ඔක්කොම තුවාල වෙලා තිනවා. කකුල් ඔක්කොම තුවාල වෙලා තියෙනවා. දැන් ගයිඩ්රුයි තව යාළුවෝ දෙන්නෙකුත් එයත් එක්ක ආවා. ඒ යාළුවෝ තුන්දෙනාම ගියා යන්න. ඊට පස්සේ කපල්සට දෙන්න විතරයි රාය ඉඳලා තියෙන්නේ.
Kavisha Eugene, who lost her life, was just 23 years old. A resident of Kakanadura Matara, she was working as a nurse at a private hospital. Information has come to light that a 22-year-old resident of Alpitia Veligalla in Gampala, who was missing since the 7th of this month, had been murdered. The information was revealed after a 24-year-old suspect was arrested in connection to the incident. The young girl had left for work at 7:30 a.m. on the 7th of this month. CCTV cameras had captured how the girl was walking to work from her residence on the 7th.
මෙයාට ෆාමසි යතුරත් බාලා දීලා තියෙන්නේ මෙයාගේ අතේ. ඒකට ෆාමසි යතුරත් ගෙනින් තියෙන්නේ ෆාමසිය උදේ ආරින්ට තමයි ගෙනින් තියෙන්නේ.
මම දුව මාත් එක්කම තමයි හිටියේ. මොකුත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. උදේ වැඩට ගියේ ඒක තමයි නැත්තේ.
After her relatives were informed that she did not report to work, they had filed a complaint at the Gampola police. The Gampola police investigated the matter and arrested one suspect. When the arrested suspect was questioned, it was revealed that the suspect, who is a goat herder, had gone to cut some grass to feed his herd. This girl had been walking along the road at this time and the suspect had attempted to sexually harass her. She had resisted and afterwards the suspect had taken her into a nearby forest area and murdered her. The body of the girl is suspected to have been buried close to this forest, but we have not found her body yet. We only have the information provided to us by the suspect. Facts have been reported to court and scene of crime officers have gone to the scene. We will continue our investigations into the incident after reporting the facts to the magistrate. Security in the area where the body of the girl is suspected to have been buried has been beefed up.
The suspect arrested for the murder of a schoolgirl in Kaluthara was remanded until the 26th of May. The suspect was produced before the Kaluthara Chief Magistrate's Court today. He was produced before the magistrate after being interrogated for 48 hours under detention orders. Counsel appearing for the suspect informed court that there is no final conclusion on if this was a homicide or suicide, and the identity of the person contacted by the deceased before her death has not yet been revealed. The counsel for the suspect requested court for special security in prison as the suspect is a heart patient. The magistrate pointed out that it is not the court but the prison officials who are vested with the duty to protect suspects in custody. Meanwhile, 2 divers from the police and 3 divers from the Navy conducted search operations to locate the phone of the deceased victim that is said to have been thrown into the Kalu River.
With the advent of the economic crisis here in Sri Lanka, much was spoken of about the poorest of the poor here in Sri Lanka. The lack of proper social security programs in Sri Lanka only aggravated the situation for this sector of the community. The Asvasuma social security program that includes providing 400,000 families in Sri Lanka with an allowance of 15,000 rupees per month and several other proposals were presented in Parliament today. Here are some of the views expressed during the debate on the Asvasuma program.
We received 7.3 million applications. We have divided this into 4 main categories. We have estimated the amount of beneficiaries to be about 400,000 and they will be provided with an allowance of 2,500 rupees until the 31st of December this year. We are also estimating the group of people in risk to be 400,000. We will take steps to provide them with an allowance of 5,000 rupees until the 31st of March 2024. We estimate that there are about 400,000 families in the poor category. Initially, steps will be taken to provide them with 8,500 rupees for a period of 3 years. The 4th category we have identified is the group in extreme poverty. We have estimated that there are about 400,000 people in this category and they will be provided with a monthly allowance of 15,000 rupees for a period of 3 years. Differently abled people will be provided a monthly allowance of 5,000 rupees. Kidney patients who receive allowances will get 5,000 rupees per month, and steps have been taken to provide 2,000 rupees as a senior citizens allowance. We will be displaying this list of names at the divisional secretariats. The district secretary will consider complaints and appeals and decide who is eligible and who isn't eligible for this program. From the month of July, Honorable Speaker, we will be depositing the monies to the bank accounts that have been provided by the applicants themselves. We want to ask if Samurdhi banks will be converted into banks that accept deposits from average depositors. Honorable MP, there should be a transformation like that. We will not act in a manner that will affect the money that is in the Samurdhi banks. Administrative costs will be 331 billion rupees. rupees. That is 40% of the entire value of the program. That is the state of this program. We can use the CEB network to provide this direct support transparently to their homes. They have divided categories like poor, extremely poor or at risk, but there is no analysis. It is a serious issue that an analysis on household income and expenses that has not been conducted. I hope that the Aspasama program would be a program that will benefit the people of this country instead of becoming something else.
When there is such a serious need for social security, what did the Samudra department do? They hosted New Year events to celebrate the New Year. They are due to organize cricket matches to spread awareness on smoking. According to the information I received, they are to spend 66 million rupees for this. What is the basis of these programs? I believe that there is a responsible suspicion as to if rejected politicians are using the Samudra department to go back among the people of the villages. Under what scientific basis are we conducting these kind of programs?
I don't believe that the Aspasama program is something that will destroy the Samurdhi program. That is just a concession given for people to make ends meet. That concession should be provided as there are communities that should be protected by the government even in developed countries. If someone is trying to destroy this program, we are ready to sacrifice their lives to save it, despite us being in the government or the opposition. It is essential that we obtain proper information on poverty, food production, concessions and social security programs and act devoid of any party affiliations. Successive governments that have come and gone have all committed these mistakes.
Tensions were high in Parliament today over approval being obtained to increase the limit of Treasury bill issuances by 1 trillion rupees under a temporary chairman and further delaying the appointment of an MP to the post of chairman of the Committee on Public Finance.
Speaking in Parliament, the opposition alleged that the Committee on Public Finance convened for several minutes yesterday and the proposal was approved after Vajira Abeyewardene was appointed as the temporary chairman.
Yesterday, the illegal Committee on Public Finance convened and approved the proposal within a minute without any discussion. They have increased the amount of debt that can be obtained through treasury bills to print money again. We explained the reasoning behind the need to increase the limit of treasury bills. Therefore, it is not illegal. The Committee on Public Finance did not convene for only a few minutes. The Business Committee convened at 1:30 p.m. State Minister Shehan Semasinghe and Treasury officials had requested us to take steps to increase the treasury bill limit urgently. We agreed to that. Did that unity continue? What did you do at 3 p.m.? The Committee on Public Finance convened secretly at 3 p.m. A puppet from the government with no understanding of macroeconomics, microeconomics or anything regarding economics was appointed as the chairman of the committee and you approved 1 trillion. What was the analysis that you conducted? They got this puppet to approve it with no knowledge of the subject. They tell us to reach decisions based on evidence, data, scientific method and case studies. How can they appoint a puppet to the Committee on Public Finance and reach such decisions? We are unable to print money that are required for the day-to-day functioning of the state. We are facing a crisis of carrying out day-to-day activities. Although Minister Bandula Gunawardena says money is not being printed, it will have to be done. It was approved by the Committee on Public Finance yesterday.
Let me speak, man. You sit down. That idiot
We appointed an opposition MP for the post once. The opposition had concerns over whether he was a part of the opposition or not. This is why he was influenced and asked to resign. When someone resigns, the post of chairman becomes vacant. After a permanent chairman is appointed to the post, a pro temp chairman can be appointed if that chairman cannot attend. Do they not understand this small matter? I request you to reject these reports presented to Parliament until a permanent chairman is appointed to the Committee on Public Finance. You need to give a decision because the report was presented by a government MP. That is illegal. They are taking the same old road. This is not the path taken by the new president or the governor of the central bank. This is the route taken by former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and former governor of the central bank Ajit Niwad Cabral, printing money to limit the budget deficit. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka Act should have been approved yesterday. It was not taken up for debate yesterday, not because of the Express Pearl vessel or based on a request by the opposition. It's because the debt ceiling couldn't have been increased by 1 trillion if it was passed. It is regretful that our country is going down the same old road.
Minister of Justice Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa convened a media briefing today to speak on the progress of the proceedings to secure compensation for the damage caused by the Express Pearl maritime disaster. He said he made a statement on an incident where a bribe was accepted after being informed of it by the chairman of the Sectoral Oversight Committee, Ajit Manam Peruma, about such details that were revealed during the discussions of the committee.
On the 6th of April, he sent me a WhatsApp message that $250 million had been deposited to the account of an individual and that this individual is a relative of the official at the Attorney General's Department who is in charge of this case. I gave it to the CID and the IGP, but I did not reveal any names as I was unsure of the authenticity of this information. It was only afterwards that I revealed the names because accusations were being levelled against me that I was involved in this, so I revealed the names in Parliament.
Are plans afoot to replace the Prime Minister? Journalists raised this issue at a press conference organised by the Sri Lanka People's Front today.
දැන් මේ අභ්‍යන්තර දේශපාලන ආරංචි මාර්ග සහ යම් කතාබහක් ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා හිටපු ජනාධිපති මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයාට නැවත වතාවක් අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය ධූරය ලබා දෙන්න සූදානම් වෙනවා කියලා. ඒක සත්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවද කොහොමද මොකද්ද ඇත්ත මොකද්ද?
Mahinda Rajapaksa is qualified to hold the office of Prime Minister and even the office of President. The party has not yet taken such a decision. We cannot oppose Mahinda Rajapaksa being appointed as the Prime Minister. He is our party leader, but there is no such discussion yet.
ඔබතුමාට හිතෙන්නේ නැද්ද එතුමාට වඩා බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා සුදුසුයි වගේ එහෙම හිතෙන්නේ නැද්ද නිකන් ඇත්තටම දෙන්න තිබ්බොත් කවුද දෙන්නගේ වඩා සුදුසු
Basil Rajapaksa is fit to be the president and the prime minister. Mahinda is also qualified. The current prime minister is also well qualified.
නෑ දෙන්නගෙන් වඩා කවුද සුදුසු
මට ඒක කියන්න යන්න බෑනේ
ඔබතුමාගේ අදහස
නෑ ඒක කියන්න යන්න ඕනේ
No, I can't say that. There is no need to reveal everything to the media. Our party is led by our spiritual leader Mahinda. Basil Rajapaksa is the one who is steering our party. You don't look at the person holding the nominal post. You look at the practical person.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena had invited provincial governors to the temple trees this morning. Provincial development affairs were discussed at the meeting. District Coordination Committee chairpersons and district secretaries also attended the meeting.
Because the local authorities have now been brought under the control of the Commissioner, those powers have been delegated to the District Committee by His Excellency the President. The Prime Minister instructed all the government bodies to work actively and serve the people through the District Committee.
දැන් ඒ වගේම ඉල්ලලා ස්ත්‍රීමේ ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා නේද එතන ඒ ගැන ඇත්තටම මොනවද කිව්වේ මේ ආණ්ඩුකාරවරු
The Prime Minister told the governors clearly that they are appointed by the President. It is the President who has delegated the duties of the local government bodies under the District Committee. If we take up an example today, dengue is on the rise again and it has become an epidemic. The local government bodies should be taking care of this problem. The governors accepted that we are doing those things properly. Some governors were accused by the members of parliament that they are not fulfilling their duties properly. I think that they will correct themselves and we hope that they will do the work. They did not talk about the problem of resignation. Certain accusations were made by the MPs against the governors of some provinces.
In Sri Lanka, there are still those who do not have access to one of the most basic essentials for human survival: clean drinking water. Today, the people of Gederavawa village in Navagathe Gama got new hope in their dreams of obtaining clean drinking water.
The village of Gederavawa in Navagattegama is an extremely rural area. Close to 165 families live in this village, majority of whom live off daily wage work or farming. For generations, these villagers have been suffering without clean drinking water. The salinity of the water in the area have led to many suffering from kidney ailments. These villagers say, despite repeated requests, a solution to this problem has not been provided. Gammadda took initiative to provide a water purification system to the village of Gederavawa. The financial support for this generous project was provided by Next Manufacturing Private Limited. This project is also supported by the Ministry of Health's National Kidney Disease Surveillance and Research Unit as well as the Sri Lankan Navy.
We live in a rural area where not much attention is given. As a state official in charge of this area, I want to thank you for giving priority to these people.
Clean, fresh drinking water is the very essence of life itself, and it should be a basic sort of fundamental right to have access to clean drinking water that is safe, free from pesticides and from other bacteria. And with the inauguration of this project, that is exactly what the community will get once the project is complete. You know, with that completion of the project, hopefully it'll give each and every one of you, your families and your loved ones, the access to clean drinking water, which can only benefit the longer term health of you and your families. And finally, I look forward to coming back to reopen the project as soon as the project is complete, and maybe having the first glass of water myself.
Access to clean drinking water was a problem faced by these people for generations. In the near future, Gammadda will be able to fulfill the dreams of the people of Gederavawa.
News first with the people.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe pointed out that if money spent on state-owned enterprises during the past 10 years was invested on education, Sri Lanka would have the best education system in Asia. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said this while attending the opening ceremony of Sri Lanka's first skills and job exhibition, Skills Expo 2023, held at the BMICH in Colombo today.
Skills Expo 2023 is Sri Lanka's first skills and job exhibition. It was held under the theme An Ability for Life, a Job for Ability at the BMICH in Colombo today. The President inaugurated the Sri Lanka Skills Expo 2023 and engaged in friendly conversations with the public who were present at the exhibition.
Looking back at last year, we had our doubts on whether such a training exhibition could be organized. In addition to the turbulent environment in this country, the country's economy was collapsing. We have now resumed the efforts of rebuilding the country's economy. I would have prepared a fresh budget to control our expenses. When I looked at the expenses of our country for the last 10 years, I noticed that we spent money on corporations while neglecting education. Had we given the money that was used for Sri Lankan Airlines, Electricity Board and Petroleum Corporation to the education and health sectors, we would be in a position to compete with the countries that have the best education systems in South Asia.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga visited several areas in the Bulletin district today.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga today initiated the program of providing nutritious meals at the Tenniyankulam Government Tamil Mixed School in the Tunuka Education Zone of the Mullaitivu district. Rakesh Nataraj, Deputy Ambassador of India, Director of Education of the Mullaitivu district and several others were present at the event.
To be here in the north after a few years, I have not come due to COVID pandemic and all that. During my government, we did a lot, even while the war was going on. We started development in the north. We even persuaded the LTT to not disturb the development work we were doing. And then since 2015, through the Office for Nationality and Reconciliation, when I was leading it, we came often to the north, to Jaffna, to Kirinochi, Mullaitivu a little bit, and the other districts of the north, and we did quite a lot of development. But now, after the change of government, I have moved away, and I'm very happy that I can come back here and do some work.
Prizes were also awarded to selected students who excelled in the Grade 5 scholarship examination.
A protest was staged in Nugegoda today. The protest was organized by the Youth Change organization. The protest was staged against attacks carried out by government-affiliated thugs on the general public of Sri Lanka. The government has decided to reduce the price of a kilogram of milk powder by 200 rupees from the 15th of May.
I discussed with all the companies importing milk powder. I mentioned that they will have to further reduce the price of milk powder. I discussed with them and made the final decision. From the 15th of May, they agreed to reduce the price of milk powder by 200 rupees. Therefore, I think that by day after tomorrow, they will reduce the price of milk powder.
That was the Minister of Trade and Commerce and Food Security, Nalin Fernando, announcing the reduction of prices in a kilogram of powdered milk. Moving on to more local news, a complaint was lodged on Wednesday with the Public Utilities Commission, the CID and the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka regarding the alleged fraudulent and corrupt allocation of power rights to foreign companies by the Ministry of Power and Energy and its affiliated agencies. The complaint was filed by individual environmentalist Banduranga Karyavasam and Sanka Chandima Apewarthana.
A statement released by the complainants noted under the authorization of the Cabinet, Adani Green Energy Limited has been granted 1,000 hectares of land in the Punareen Mana region for the implementation of a 500 megawatt renewable energy project. Consequently, the involved entity will gain control over the northern province, known for being the region with the highest wind power production in Sri Lanka. Citing news reports, the complainants say Sri Lanka Board of Investment is actively engaged in appointing committees and granting permissions to Adani for the execution of a 1,000 megawatt renewable energy project in Mana. Complainants also say the Petroleum Development Authority has entered into a contract with the Green Stat Hydrogen India Private Limited to undertake a comprehensive feasibility study on hydrogen production within Sri Lanka. These initiatives were carried out in February to March of the previous year under the awareness of the then Minister Udaya Gammanpila. However, the current Energy Minister has not yet validated the agreement. Additionally, Cabinet approval for Adani Green Energy Limited was also granted during the same period. The complainants pointed out the Ministry of Energy is diligently undertaking the task of transferring Sri Lanka's renewable energy rights to the respective company on a daily basis. They pointed out by entering into such contracts, Sri Lanka stands to lose its energy rights, resulting in consumers having to purchase more expensive distributed electricity. The complainants also point out this situation may lead to the missed opportunity and loss of rights for green hydrogen energy generation in Sri Lanka. The complainants also pointed out, despite Sri Lanka's lack of a specific hydrogen roadmap and a less proactive stance in its development, the country is now obliged to engage with an Indian company to assess the prospects of green hydrogen energy production. They say that in disregard of Sri Lanka's energy policy and the imperative for future energy security and rights, the Ministry of Energy has purportedly engaged in corrupt practices and violated the human rights of the Sri Lankan people. The complainants added these actions have occurred without updating the energy policy and renewable energy development plan.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations initiated a $1.5 million project to improve the quality and value of Sri Lankan fruits in the global market by improving the production and commercialization of fruit value chains in Sri Lanka.
This project was funded by China as part of the South-South Cooperation Program, and its initiation was marked with a workshop held in Colombo. The interventions, implemented in cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture, will focus on practical field-based training programs, including the establishment of model fruit farms and improving post-harvest handling, marketing and commercialization of the selected fruit varieties. The project, which will be implemented in Kalutara, Gampaha, Munaragala, Anuradhapura and Kilinochchi districts, will focus on productivity, production and commercialization of the fruit value chains of three main Sri Lankan fruit crops: banana, mango and pineapple. A team of 9 Chinese technical experts have begun working alongside their counterparts from the Fruit Research Development Institute and the National Institute of Post-Harvest Management of Sri Lanka to implement the program over the next 2.5 years.
Today is day 27 of the LOLC Divi Savya program. Today's program was held centering the Mullaitivu district.
The LOLC Divi Savya program is launched to lend a helping hand to students who are the future of Sri Lanka. Books and other stationery items were distributed among students in the Thunukki education zone in the Bulletin district. They were distributed to students of the Alai Kallu Poddukulam GTM Vidyalaya, Mamadu Palampasi GTMS Vidyalaya, Panankama Manru Muripu GTM Vidyalaya and Panankamam Puvarasukulam GTM Vidyalaya. Another LOLC team distributed books and other stationery items among students of the Periyattei Madu GTMS Vidyalaya, Odiyamale GTMS Vidyalaya and Kollavilakulam GTMS Vidyalaya. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC group and the Ministry of Education.
Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been granted bail by Islamabad's highest court days after his dramatic arrest over corruption charges set off a deadly outpouring of anger against the country's military.
A judge in the capital city's High Court on Friday ordered Khan's temporary release for 2 weeks. Imran Khan told foreign media, quote, "I am 100% sure I will be arrested again. I was followed by the NAB to talk to my wife. Arrest warrants are issued against her too." End quote. It came a day after Pakistan Supreme Court ruled Imran Khan's arrest on Tuesday by Pakistani anti-graft agency, the National Accountability Bureau, was unlawful. Khan's party had filed a petition to challenge the illegal land acquisition charges against him by the NBI. He accused the country's powerful army chief of being behind his arrest in his first public comments since the arrest.
The head of the World Food Programme has warned that it will be difficult to feed the world if Russia pulls out the Ukraine grain deal.
Cindy McCain told the BBC that the deal, which is due to expire on the 18th of May, must be renewed. The export agreement has allowed Ukraine to transport millions of tons of food despite the ongoing conflict. The deal was brokered by the UN and Turkey last July. It was agreed to help tackle a global food crisis after access to Ukraine's ports in the Black Sea was blocked by Russian warships following the invasion in February 2022. Ukraine is a major global exporter of sunflower, maize, wheat and barley, and more than half of the wheat grain procured by the WFP last year came from there. At the same time, the UN also agreed to help Moscow facilitate its own agricultural shipments. The deal is meant to be extended for 120 days at a time, but Russia has threatened to quit the agreement on the 18th of May over obstacles to its grain and fertilizer exports. Senior officials from Russia, Ukraine, Turkey and the UN met in Istanbul on Thursday to discuss proposals to extend the deal.
The World Health Organization has said monkeypox is no longer a global public health emergency, almost a year after the threat was raised.
The WHO added, the virus is still around and further waves and outbreaks could continue, but the highest level of alert is over. The global health body's chief, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, called on countries to remain vigilant. It can be passed on by close contact with someone who is infected. According to a WHO count, more than 87,000 cases and 140 deaths have been reported from 111 countries during the global outbreak.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. To follow details of these stories and more, you can log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Charlene Benedict for the News First team. Take care. God bless.